I've been gone for a while. You know, after a long day at work, I really feel like I'm missing something.
Leave me alone!
Oh yeah, I haven't drank water. Yeah, that was really great. You know, I feel that rush of blood flow. That's what most people call being dehydrated. I feel decent, refreshed for now, but I feel thirsty still. Maybe there's water that is everlasting. But first, what even is water? We literally have to drink this clear liquid every single day or else we die. As a fellow human, or better yet, a living being, gotta go broader in that sense, you know? No, not that type of broad. Water is literally everywhere and meant for everything in all of existence. But why? Water is a mix of 2/3 hydrogen and 1/3 oxygen. Keep that part in mind. I'll come back to that in a second. You know, it's really funny because we need water to survive, like on the daily, more so than food. Without food, you got like 3 weeks to live. Without water, 3 days. And no air, majority of people got like 3 minutes tops. But I mean, all three sound pretty painful. It boils back down to time. Water transcends time. It's literally everywhere. Imagine if Earth blows up right now. We'll literally be cooked. We'll cease to exist. But water is literally everywhere. It's part of life. And more so the meaning than the word, because it's part of the galaxy. It's just like how we're made of carbon and it's part of the galaxy. Without us, life will go on, just not in the sense of us. But you know, I say that and it sounds just like a mortal thing to say, a moral conclusion. But I'll never not find it funny how many times I have to go around and tell people to stop thinking in such a human dust-like terms and think in the way of the water. James Cameron's sneaking around somewhere in my minds and shit. But we're only human, you know? It's difficult to perceive something as an image or an idea when you've never actually witnessed it or been around it or know exactly what it is, but more importantly, witness it. I always say trust it with your eyes and not anything else. But try to explain the color red to a blind person and tell them, describe it to me. First off, how do you even describe a color with anything else that a blind person's never seen? How would they describe it? Like, you don't have an image for it. That's how I see. I see my eyes as a camera and everything is tracking digital footage. We can't fully understand the ideas of the spirit until we pass on or transcend. That's why God has given us ways to understand his ways, and those ways, well, one way is through water. But first, let me break it down to you. Shit, man, everything needs water. Plants, rocks, animals, us, like I said, and even the universe itself, like I said. Something you wouldn't think is alive, but is, you know? Even something you wouldn't expect to need it, like a desert. Imagine Batman's Lazarus Pit. Even the dead need a source of the living, but that's terms of the living. Everlasting water is essence. It's around us all the time. It's like energy. There's a lot to cover right now, and let me just start from the beginning. To understand such a common idea, we have to think outside. Where is water? It is in the sky. It's literally in the air. It floats around in space. Like, come on. Everything is composed of atoms. Now, this is where I might lose some people, but come on, just go with the trail of thought. For decades, scientists have theorized that if you zoom in far enough, you see tiny specks, which we now know are atoms. We have the ability to zoom up to 50 million times, and that's crazy. That's insane. Here's a video of that real quick, just so you can get an idea of that, and like, it just keeps going. It's like a portal. But let's say you go past what we can see with our observable eyes. We theorize past atoms, there's vibrating strings just floating space. If you zoom in further enough, everything just becomes space. In the last episode, I mentioned how sin and time must exist within something like a rotating cube for us humans to understand. Something has to exist for time and sin and gravity to coexist. God observes all of that. He's outside of that. But imagine spiritual spiders. Now, okay, go along with this. Constructing this reality, which is our idea of the universe, and similar to that, there are parallel realities and universes and galaxies and earths and individual persons making individual choices. But those strings that comprise everything within those realities are made from those spiritual spiders. Now, I like to say that history and science and God kind of go hand in hand. The 3 is kind of like God's like lucky number. And it's kind of funny because God kind of put these hints in our observable reality that we study and conclude and theorize. I kind of think that God has a sense of humor because Jesus is the physical sense of his words, and he speaks in metaphors, and I think that's interesting because metaphors are kind of like satire in a sense of a joke if you think about it, with a teaching or a lesson. If you also think about it, we're the only species on earth that are capable of laughing. And don't get me out here with hyena, that's a fucking attack call, okay? In science, we have patterns. Those numbers are 3, 6, 7, 9, and 12. And I just think those are like God's also cue cards for those senses. Oh, anyway, let's trail back. Spiritual spiders. They left like a vibrating web. String theory. They're kind of like labels or art signatures, you know, like on all of existence. I'm big on context, you know, like my girl, she said that I kind of like talk like I'm writing an essay and people just don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I just feel like a lot of conversations get misconstrued like a game of telephone, even when I'm talking to you straight to your face. So like the more context I can give someone or something, the better. If that's annoying, whatever. In my sense, it's better for me to explain myself to the fullest, for someone to at least be able to have the clues to understand me rather than not. Ironic, because that's what I'm trying to explain by God. Now, within space or within our universe to which these things, strings of vibration exist, are us, basically all of existence. Strings theory goes hand in hand with water because water moves and never stays the same. It's always flowing. Even the spiritual sense, God's light and water, energy, it's all same. Like Bluetooth, it's all around us. It's vibration that we learned how to tap into. It's forever there, but changes and produces life, like blood flow. I have chronic like muscle aches. Have you ever had a muscle knot and just cracked that shit, like pop that shit, and felt the instant relief of just so much blood moving? Now, many people will tell me that I need to see a doctor, but you can fuck off with all that. Anyway, water is necessary for life and our blood. Our blood needs it to move, to be made. For cells to be made. Our atoms, cells, are copied within the cleansing nature of water. Now, without water to purify us, we would dry up similar to any desert, or dry up like a dead plant. We would rot inside out like a fig tree. Painful, slow, any moment, a sip of water would help us and get us back to not full power, but a stable power. Now, similar to how the Hebrews were so obsessed with how cleaning or how cleansed their house or the body themselves need to be for God, they forgot how to actually worship God. They were so obsessed with buying the best clean items, they wandered away from God. In a more 21st century sense, right? Follow along here. Let's say buy a cross, right? To worship God. Now the item represents his sacrifice. But now I'm like, damn, I gotta clean it every day. I got like OCD, I feel like. I gotta clean everything got its place, but I know what meaning has, you know? So remember, don't get lost in trying to keep the meaning clean and lose the meaning. I'm trying to clean this cross every day and I lose the fact that I'm forgetting to pray to God or worship the cross. Similar to how Jesus started tweaking out like at the temple, like, get out of my Father's house. You made it like a den of thieves. You're selling stuff where you should be worshiping. One time, there was an instance in a crowd when Jesus was walking, and this woman, she couldn't get through, but she made her way through, pushed and shoved, and just to get a grasp of his garment. She believed. And she risked her life to get a mere touch of his garment because word arose of him cleaning people of sin, yes, but physical diseases too, you know, like leprosy. And leprosy is where you get like cuts and boils, and it looks similar to like leper spots. And Hebrew elders believed that anyone that was dirty like that was too far gone. They're dead already. But on living and breathing, nah, you might as well be dead. Like, I know it sounds shitty, and it is, but Jesus pointed out that the belief in the Father cleans better than anything bought or sacrificed, because he is the ultimate sacrifice. Now, don't get me wrong, bro. Jesus was on business. You lost your way, son. It's like the scary movie scene. Give me that shit, son. Give me your life, son. Like, literally, give me your life. But everybody just want to deny him. It's so crazy. He is the good, holy way. Now, Jesus was good and holy, But he wasn't nice. Like, he stood on business. You know, people get that lost in translation a lot, clarifying that like water. Now, you tell me this. Would you want someone who would be clear, straight up, and truthful? If it's harsh, cold truth like ice water? Or someone who is muggy, foggy, with not clear intentions like dirty water? I don't know. I'd rather someone tell me some straight up shit than like lie straight to my face just to like believe something else. Like, just tell me what you believe, bro. It's said Jesus bled blood. I mean, duh, right? Blood. But also water when he was stabbed in the rib on the cross, right? The purification, the sacrifice. When he was dying, it said he was also absorbing all past and future sins. Now, I know that sounds hard to believe, but you just gotta think past mortal sense. Think past the earthly dust ideologies. Just, if you want to call it imagination, go for it, but just give it a try. Now, he was absorbing all of that through all of time. He acted as like a universal sponge. And upon death, he blasted out his spirit, which cleansed all the future inbound souls to which they were absorbed all muggy of tensions. Like, you're supposed to get baptized when you're born because we're born with sin. We're born with that dustly desires. He cleanses because his spirit is like an act of water. That's why it's like everlasting, because the spirit is beyond what we can observe. Think of that sense of water as our consciousness. He died, he blasted out his clear Holy Spirit, his purification from all sin into us. His form of connection, our consciousness, what tells you what is right and wrong. The real question is, will we listen to it as it guides us into the water filter or not? I mean, like, how thirsty are you, man? Now, going back to what I said about our physical water and what it's composed of, imagine the 2/3 of hydrogen as the essence of God, right? Like the Holy Spirit, the consciousness. And the oxygen is the connection to us as the earthly being, the sun. God's words composed into earthly dust. But no, it's kind of complicated. He's all human and he's all God, his father. His spirit is of his mother from earth, which is pure. There had to be a pure container, pure clean cup for the water to go in. Think about like that, basically. He is all clean from conception to death, to purify our future wrongdoing. Water is more than a liquid. Water is literally the essence of all life, living and death. Although, you know, I believe this is the dead part. Like, in the last episode, I was talking about sleep. I think it's the opposite. Think about, like I said earlier, the Lazarus pit. Jesus said about Lazarus, his friend, he's just asleep. But he was dead, in the tomb, wrapped up, like, dead. Like, everybody saw him dead. Like, I don't know, if I went around talking about someone's alive right now, I'm getting called a tweaker. I'm a crackhead. But he saw what wasn't there. It was there. It's around us all the time, but we just can't perceive it. That's why his purification allows that eye ability. They say that the eyes are the window to the soul, and they are. It's the idea that the lighter your eyes are, not color, but that pupil part, is the brighter your soul. Sleep is just being alive. I think of it as the opposite. Like, right now, when we sleep, we're breaking that connection, that seal. That's why we can have nightmares and all types of stuff. But what if this plane, this realm, Earth, universe, galaxy, Milky Way, whatever, you know, the observable is the dusty death part, and we can be walked through the waterfall. We can humbly be washed all of our faults or stay dusty, inside and out. I mean, shit, even animals have a innate instinct to find water. And animals are by default in connection to God's flow of spiritual water. All dogs go to heaven, man. Everlasting flow of peace and love. That connection that once flowed from the Garden of Eden to the heavenly tree of life, that flow is still there. I firmly believe that connection is still there. It's similar to how we have Aurora Borealis, glimpses into spiritual connections, and water is just that stasis. It's that exact boundary that we need. You think the tree of life doesn't need water? We are its water. Our consciousness is that blast radius that Jesus sent out to us, and God needs it back eventually, man. I firmly believe basically listen to your consciousness and don't drown it out with dusty ideas. Clean your mind. Like, confession was a useful thing. I'm not saying go and talk to another human, a sinful being. Like, literally talk just to God. Like, clean your mind as you would clean your stomach and body. Now, I'm not saying all other elements are not as precious to his order of physical realm and physics, you know, like, I mean, just however, water is just what it is. It's clear and a reflection of what it is, in or near, no cover. How is water more important than fire, earth, air? Aren't they of God's light creation and stability of its creations? Water is similar to a mirror. When water is frantic and waves, you are troubled and can't see, but slow down. When water is rested and silent, you can see exactly what there is. Wherein a regular mirror works with the natural desire, lacks luster of the truth. Jesus is called the truth because he's the physical human form of God's literal words. And he is without hiding. His light is clear as water. To broaden ideas, not again, we understand. As although we are the dominant species, we are rather unknowledgeable, which is like funny because that's like our spiritual downfall, that need into a narrow path by being purified through his sacrifice of pain and love to a clean status just by our own faith, aka mental willpower. I think, therefore I am. The observer effect is constant, and it's funny because in Hebrew, the I am term is God's term for I am Lord. Through belief, physical change happened. Hey everybody, check this out. This guy's talking about manifestation. Go get him some rock. I mean, if you guys got some rocks, I'll take some rocks. I like rocks, bro. I'm kind of like a rock doctor. But come on, it's tomorrow or the next day from whenever you hear this video. Wake up and believe you'll have a good day. Literally thank God for being alive. Like, even if you don't believe in God and you just came upon this video and you honestly stayed this long to hear what I gotta say, just wake up and just be thankful that you're alive, breathing air, got the chance to drink some more water. Like, it'll happen, you'll have a good day. That term misery loves company because dirt loves mud, like it produces more of it. But water, even physical, is the perfect solvent, reduces all dirt to nothing. In exchange, the water is now dirty. An honorable sacrifice, to be honest. Wash you away, and in exchange it dies and gets depleted. But however, it's similar to Jesus, but in spiritual water, he's forever purified. And you too, for believing, basically. Just don't forget, once clean, you may get dirty again. More by your own actions. He cleans over and over, but you too must release the dirt you're holding on to, or else you're never really washed in the bath. Like, you're not really getting clean. In terms of spiritual water, once received, human urges will get reduced. Take that however you may, whatever your dirt may be. Even thirst, aka I just chugged all that water, I feel decent. We need at least 8 cups daily for our body to function. However, truthfully, I don't feel the hunger to drink. I can go all day without it, to be honest. In my opinion, because I seek what water we cannot see, but our senses can feel, like audio. It's a form of energy like food and sunlight. And humans are conductive, similar to food. Through belief and practice, I still need to eat and drink. I'm a human too, bro. But not like I have to, it's similar to how monks meditate. Now, Hebrews and other cultures, they call it fasting. I usually eat my protein powder before work and go all day because I fast. I don't really eat until nighttime. But low-key, Jesus mentioned the importance of fasting in the spiritual sense of pacing yourself, being thankful, and giving your body the not reliance of needs and connection of the mortal plane. Train the body to perfect the mind. You don't need something unless you feel that you need it. You're not cold unless you tell your body you're cold. I just find it interesting because studies, medical modern science, have stated fasting to help let dying cells fully die, because giving energy from food and water help you, but also it lets the dying cells reproduce while dying, creating basically more dying cells. This too is a form and example of God's metaphors. Just because we lack knowledge, he was teaching us in the wording that our simple minds would understand even 2,000 years ago. The teachings in spirit aren't always straightforward, but they are clean as water once you accept the washing.